It's really easy to talk about our absolute disappointment with characters such as Big or Steve because of how much screen time they get and all of the drama that surrounds them. This leaves people like Berger to be easily swept under the rug. But with characters like Big, for example, we can at least get some heartfelt moments, some funny episodes, and we can see Carrie learning more and more about herself. Could the same be said about Berger? I couldn't help but wonder, what was the point of Berger? Hello there, welcome to my channel where I analyze and talk about TV shows that I like. Around here, the curtain is blue for a reason. There's always a reason. Let's discuss. Now, obviously, in real life, sometimes there isn't any point in having a bad relationship or a failed relationship. Sometimes there isn't some grand, life-changing lesson to be learned. You just move on and go about your life. But considering the nature of the show, there's generally always been something we, as well as the main characters, can take from each relationship that ends. Each time Big and Carrie break up and go their own separate ways, we learn a little bit more about each of them, their wants, their needs, their desires, and their flaws. This also happens when Carrie and Aidan break up, and pretty much every relationship that lasts more than one episode has a lesson in it somewhere. Berger actually shocked me when I first watched the show because he really had the energy of a boat. That's boyfriend of the episode. The show revolves around this formula of showing a boat, and by the end of the episode, the main characters realize they're not compatible with the guy, and they go their own separate ways. We, the audience, are supposed to assume, okay, this one's for real, if a relationship lasts more than an episode. Berger is a bit unique because Carrie and Berger don't actually start going out until season 6, episode 1, even though they met in season 5, episode 5. Usually, when Carrie meets a potential long-term boyfriend, they hit it off and they start dating by the end of the episode. And then the next few episodes will show off their relationship. We see this with Aidan, we see this with Aleksandr, and yes, we even see it with the politician. I know he only lasted 2 episodes, but he wasn't a boyfriend of the episode. We were led to believe that there was some possible potential, hence why he stuck around for more than 1 episode. This pattern is seen with Berger and Big. Carrie also meets Big in season 1, episode 1, but doesn't actually start dating him until episode 6. Wait a minute, I think I see even more similarities between Berger and Big. In both relationships, Carrie meets the guy, but doesn't immediately go on a date because the guy is unavailable. In Big's case, that's just his overall personality, and he enjoyed the cat and mouse chase. And in Berger's case, it was because he was already in a relationship. Side note, it is entirely possible that Big was also seeing someone at the beginning of season 1 when he started flirting with Carrie, as we later see that he was still casually dating even after they went out a few times. In both relationships, Carrie has a moment when she starts to unload a little too much, when she starts to reveal her true personality to the guy, and the guy is put off. This happens with Big in season 1, episode 11, when she freaks out about the fact that her and Big haven't slept together in a while. Fine, I'll leave. What is wrong with you? Why are you acting so nuts? Well, maybe I'm not perfect. Maybe I don't fit into your perfect little life. Maybe I should leave. I stood there and waited for the obligatory "he's coming to stop me" 10 seconds. He didn't. How come you didn't call? How come you didn't call? This happens with Berger in season 5, episode 8, when she unloaded about Aidan and their breakup. I mean, how many of these things can one person survive? You know what? They should institute a helmet law for relationships. Right, that's true. Well, I should get going. Oh, both Big and Berger seemingly distanced themselves, although it was more obvious with Berger as he quite literally ran away from her, whereas Big just went to his normal, distant self. In both relationships, Carrie seems lost with the concept of love. She doesn't know if she believes in it anymore. She doesn't know if it's still out there. She asks Big, "Wow, what's wrong with you?" "I get it. You've never been in love." "Oh yeah?" "Yeah." Suddenly, I felt the wind knocked out of me. I wanted to crawl under the covers and go right to sleep. Wait, have you ever been in love? And with Berger, this was right after Aidan, where she had multiple pieces of dialogue expressing how she feels as though love isn't out there for her anymore, and that her 2 great loves that she's had, that's it, nothing else is coming. So was the point of Berger to show Carrie that love still is out there? That love is still possible for her? That she can find love again after losing her 2 great loves, Big and Aidan? Surely, if that were the case, Berger would have been, I don't know, better. He was flirting with her while he still had a girlfriend, which I guess is on par with what Carrie has done in the past. The fact that they have a spark and chemistry together is nailed into our heads until they're actually in bed together, and that problem just gets solved magically. Then the pettiness, the arguing, the bickering, the tension, the jealousy of Carrie's success, the insecurities, it all really compounded over the course of 3 episodes. And we can't even say, well, it was only bad in the end, the rest of it was good. Sorry, but no. Their issues sprung up every episode they were in together, sometimes multiple issues in a single episode. With Carrie's other long-term relationships, there would be a formula. The episode begins, and her and so-and-so are doing well. Then something happens, some friction occurs, they work through it, and by the end of the episode, they come together and are happy. This continues happening until there's a major issue and there's no solving it. The end of the episode is the end of the relationship. But with Berger, there were issues that lasted multiple episodes and they never got resolved. They just kept growing and compounding. And it never seemed as though it was a, well, this is just the type of person he is. It more so seemed as though Jack Berger was just going through a phase. He was just going through a hard time. This isn't who he really is. His insecurities in the relationship made sense because he was just cheated on by his ex-girlfriend. His financial insecurities and feelings of not being good at his job came after he was laid off and couldn't find more work. His book sales were also low. I think anyone would feel this way after losing a publisher. That all makes sense. We're seeing Jack Berger at a horrible time in his life, whereas with the other long-term boyfriends, what you see is what you get. When we met Big, he wasn't down in the dumps because of his divorce with Barbara. His feelings on marriage are pretty consistent throughout the entire show. Yes, I know that's hypocritical because he married Natasha. That was also a really horrible time in his life where his behavior was erratic and Carrie should have had nothing to do with him. But fact of the matter is, Big is consistently hypocritical. He was unavailable, obviously, unhappy, and miserable, and was just all over the place because he couldn't figure out what he needed to do, so he decided to make everyone else miserable as well. If you were the type of person to root for Carrie and Big because you really love their dynamic and think they should just figure things out already and get together, surely you also agree that when Big was married to Natasha, Carrie should have had nothing to do with him, and Big should have had nothing to do with Carrie. During that phase in his life, he should have been completely unavailable to Carrie. The same can be said about Jack Berger. This phase that he's in, getting over a bad relationship, losing his income, feeling insecure about his writing passion, this isn't someone that could have provided a great love to Carrie, let alone a decently functional relationship. Can we really say Berger was a great love for her? Now, I know they said I love you to each other, but be serious. Compare Berger to Big and Aidan, and yes, even Aleksandr. Their relationship isn't comparable at all. Carrie mentions in the final episode what she really wants in life, what she has always wanted. Real love, ridiculous, inconvenient, consuming, can't live without each other love. This speech could easily apply to Big. It could apply to Aidan in some ways, and in the beginning of her and Alexander's relationship, it could apply. It stopped applying as soon as she moved to Paris and Aleksandr was way too busy to prioritize her, but the relationship they had in New York did feel like a great love at first. It did feel like there was a huge potential for them to live happily ever after, which is what helped fuel her decision to move to Paris in the first place. But back to Berger. This was not a great love. Besides some sparks here and there, this wasn't some life-changing relationship. Charlotte defined a great love in season 5, episode 1 as, yeah, and that phrase, great love, what does that even mean? It means a love that changes you, that shakes you to your core, after which you're never the same. Carrie overall agrees with Charlotte's definition, but was Berger any of this? Absolutely not. The point of Berger was not that he was a potential great love, because he wasn't, and he could never be a Big or an Aidan or even an Aleksandr. I think if you asked Carrie, she would say that Berger breathed life into her and gave her hope after 2 great loves slipped from her hands. But we all know that Carrie is a bit of a romantic and maybe exaggerates a bit too much, and she sees things in a sort of everything will come together in a cosmic sort of way. That thought process has fueled most of her major decisions, like chasing down Natasha to save her cosmic bad karma, chasing down Aidan after running into him in Abu Dhabi, because surely the stars aligned for this to happen. It has to mean something, she says. But my answer? The point of Berger was to show us, the audience, and attempt to show Carrie, if she could grasp this lesson and apply it to her life, that Carrie is willing to sacrifice and sacrifice and sacrifice in order to get that great love experience and live happily ever after, even if it means losing everything. We already saw signs of this with Big, when she was willing to squeeze herself into this little box just to please Big. Season 1, episode 11. I don't know, it's something about him. You should see me around him. I'm not like me. I'm like together Carrie. I wear little outfits, sexy Carrie and casual Carrie. Sometimes I catch myself actually posing. It's exhausting. And we see this again when Big was married to Natasha and they started having an affair. She was willing to sacrifice and throw away her dignity, her morals, her character, all to have this great love. I am awful. I have this great boyfriend. I don't know what I was doing. Jesus, how do we get here? Who are we? Do you hate me? Say you don't hate me. I don't hate you. Thank you. If only I didn't hate me. Please, Charlotte, I feel bad enough already. And now we might think, oh, well, this was just with Big. No, we also see this with Aidan when she tries to morph herself into someone he would like by hiding the fact that she smokes and by hiding the fact that she doesn't actually want to marry him. Then again with Aleksandr, she really honestly did try her best to acclimate to Paris, to adjust to being a low priority for Aleksandr by being okay with being alone so much. But she quit her job. She left all of her friends to really try and give this relationship an honest shot. She is willing to give everything up. There is no limit to what she'd be willing to give up if it meant having that great love. This continues even more in the first movie when Big jilts her in front of all of her friends and loved ones, plus 200 something other people, plus basically all of New York since there was so much publicity around the wedding. I am humiliated, she says. They still end up back together. The humiliation, the absolute heartbreak, and the turmoil she went through meant nothing in the grand scheme of things because, hey, she's got a great love. Then in the second movie, she was willing to sacrifice that marriage with her great love to what? Entertain her second great love? Because it, quote unquote, must mean something in a cosmic sort of way that she ran into Aidan in Abu Dhabi of all places. This episode, season 4, episode 1, is seriously a huge turning point in the series. She meets Jack Berger a season and a half later, but this was the start of the new Carrie. The Carrie where she has realized that she will sacrifice anything and everything to get that great love. And really, I hate myself a little for saying this, but it just felt really sad not to have a man in my life that cares about me. No special guy to wish me happy birthday. No soulmate. I don't even know if I believe in soulmates. Carrie not only wants that great love, but she doesn't want to be alone. She doesn't want to keep dating indefinitely. She wants to be settled down and she wants to find her happily ever after. Jack Berger shows us what Carrie has become. There is no rhyme or reason why Berger shouldn't have been a boyfriend of the episode. I know there's some Berger fans out there, so please let me explain. Their spark/chemistry, being able to have a good conversation with someone surely can't be what a spark is, and that's it. It should extend in other places as well, and as we can see, they have problems keeping up that spark in the bedroom. And not just that, but that spark very quickly dies down by season 6, episode 4, when they start bickering all the time and they're being very short with each other. Miranda even calls this out. Berger can be threatened and insecure, and sometimes he shuts down, but he's also smart and funny. He made up this Hollywood kiss thing. Whenever we're being pissy with each other, we do this fake Hollywood kiss thing, and it makes us laugh. You guys need a bit? I know, it isn't working. Why is it so hard to admit that? And what about their professions? It actually was really nice to see Carrie with another writer, especially since this one didn't work out. But because of Berger losing his income, they can't even freely discuss their writing with each other because every conversation is just filled with pettiness and insecurity. And what about shared hobbies and interests? She's into fashion and he's into what? Writing and collecting quirky little playing cards. That's pretty much it. We didn't actually see them doing a whole lot together besides enjoying each other's company. This comes up again with Aleksandr when Carrie states maybe he could be more than a lover. No, the only place this is going is Loverville. Well, I could see it going somewhere. Oh, please, half the time I can't even understand him. We have nothing in common. There's just one thing. Thank God. Well, we don't really have anything in common but each other. We're not really involved in each other's lives. He never shares anything about his work. Carrie, every couple is different. Yeah, I guess I had this idea of couples sharing everything together. At least their passions. If I listed all of these issues between Berger and Carrie and showed you some random guy instead, I think the majority of people would think, oh, I must have accidentally skipped an episode. I don't remember this guy. Huh, he must not have been that memorable in the first place. He must have been some random boyfriend of the episode. And that's exactly what Berger is. He's just a rebound. He's just a boyfriend of the episode. He's just a nothing burger. He wasn't meant to last this long, but with the power of Carrie and her extremely strong desire to have that great love, she sacrificed and sacrificed and sacrificed. She pushed through all of the red flags that were shown in the beginning of the relationship, which should have hinted that maybe they're not compatible, or at the very least, maybe they're not compatible right now. But she tried to make these two opposite puzzle pieces fit together anyways. By this point in the show, season 6, we have seen Carrie break up with boyfriends for significantly less. But with the looming fear that she's run out of great loves, she tries to morph herself and configure herself to fit into Berger's life. This is all finalized and proven when they break up, when Berger leaves town to clear his head, comes back saying he's ready, then leaves the next morning with a post-it note. We are never told just what he was thinking, what happened in the time frame between making up at the door and waking up that made him decide to call it quits. We're never given an answer. We never learn what happens to Berger or where he ends up. It's as if he was a ghost that just phased into Carrie's life momentarily to try and help transition her from one phase in her life to the next. And once that was done, poof, he's gone. And although the lesson that you shouldn't have to try so hard to fit into someone's life, that a relationship shouldn't be that hard, also disappeared just as easily as Berger, the self-sacrificing frame of mind remained. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know in the comments what y'all think. What did you think of Berger? Did they actually have any chemistry? Or was it just Carrie and Berger repeatedly announcing that they have chemistry? Was there any hope for them ever? Let me know in the comments. And if you have a suggestion for the next video, feel free to leave that in the comments as well. Thanks so much for watching. See y'all next time.